Hey there, superstar. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about how to scale a consulting business. If you're wanting to learn how to scale a consulting business, I'm guessing that's because you've already had some success with your consulting business so far, and you're looking for ways to take it to the next level. That's what this video is all about. Some great reasons to scale a business are pretty obvious, like you want to have more money or you want to liberate some time. And other reasons are a little less tangible, like maybe you want to make a bigger impact. Maybe you want to leave a legacy and make sure that the things that you've discovered make their way into humanity on a bigger scale. So there are great reasons to scale. And one thing that often happens as people look at scaling a business, especially when it's to make more money, liberate time, and make a bigger impact, is that it can feel overwhelming. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some ways to leverage a consulting business, your content, your processes, your systems, your experiences, what you've figured out in ways that are energy rich, fun, scalable, and sustainable for long periods of time. You ready? Let's go. So the key to scaling any business, and especially a consulting business, is figuring out what levers to pull. In other words, where to find leverage in the business. Now, when I talk about leverage, I'm talking about leveraging your magic, not your time and effort. Meaning, we don't want to create something where you have to work more or work harder. We want to find a way to leverage what comes easily and naturally to you. So when you're looking at what to leverage, you want to think about what you've figured out that's unique and special. What makes your consulting different? So a lot of times consultants, a big thing that we come up with is some sort of process or system by which we generate results. Some sort of signature approach or way that we look at certain problems. Now, I've found in my experience that the more we can synthesize that process, the more we can figure out all the steps to it and how we do it and analyze it and really understand the step-by-step, the easier it will be for someone else to replicate those same steps. And then if you can do that, you can either give the steps to the end user so they can do it themselves, or you can train a group of other people to deliver those steps and then have an army of people out in the world doing your work. And there are lots of different ways to structure that, and we'll talk about some of those in a moment. So before I dive into some of the specific ways this could look, I do want to share with you a little bit about how I know this and why I'm somebody that you might want to listen to. So I've been a consultant and now a coach for about 15 years. I started my business in 2007 as a consultant, and that's what I did pretty much full time until about 2014, which is when I shifted my model to start doing group coaching and adding that to the mix. I still do some consulting as well. So I've been in the world of consulting myself, and a lot of my clients are consultants as well. So I get to see the ways that they set up their programs, their processes, their systems, and what they're doing. Not to mention, I also just have a genuine interest in business models. So I'm always curious and looking at other people to see how they're doing it. So part of what I'm going to weave into this video is not only the theory and the processes that I've identified, but also I'll be showcasing some of the big consultants out there that have had the success of scaling their business much bigger than most of us do. So I'm going to start with a way to scale that's the way that I chose to scale my consulting business. It's basically by creating some sort of group program with your clients. So in the past, when I did consulting initially, I worked with clients one-on-one. I would go visit them, meet with them, interview their people, facilitate brainstormings. I would create systems and processes that we would implement, and I did all that work one-on-one. When I made the shift to the group coaching model, what I did was I invited the client, the lead person at the company, to join me for a group event, for a group experience where they would be with other of my clients. And so I invited all of those people, and I ended up having 10 in the room for the first one. Well, they weren't all my existing consulting clients. I included some other people as well. brought them together and had an experience, facilitated a group experience for all of them together that involved me doing consulting in front of the rest of the group and also them working with each other and masterminding, bringing your clients, your consulting clients together so that they can share best practices, so that they can support each other, they can cross-pollinate. That's one way to scale a consulting business. Now that's kind of a little, not a baby step, but it's not a very huge step in the world of scaling. The way I see it, something like that could take your business easily from about 6 figures to 7 figures, to low 7 figures, maybe $1 million, $2 million or so in revenues. The next thing that you can do is to leverage technology. And so what that might look like is if you take your content, your processes, your systems, what you've come up with, and you turn it into some sort of online learning program. So you can do this whereby, it becomes basically a do-it-yourself program for your clients, and it can also serve as a way to help to implement the back end of your consulting, meaning you can still continue to work the front end with the high level person, and then for the implementation part, instead of you going in and doing training or even hiring trainers and people to go in and implement the training, you can have some of the training and some of the back end work done by video online. People are more and more open than ever to video, and it's a way to mitigate costs and to make whatever your coaching process or systems more accessible to a broader group of people. So leveraging technology by putting your work product into an online format is really valuable. So here's an example of someone who does that. There's someone in my mastermind, my $1 million speaker mastermind at the National Speakers Association. His name is Bill Cates. And one of the things that he talks about that he does is he has this video library that he licenses to his consulting clients. And that video library has all of his trainings organized so that their employees can tap into that training without him having to go in and do the work or hire someone to go in and do it. And then it's just a licensing agreement that basically goes into automatic renewal every single year. And he says that basically it's on autopilot and there's not much that he has to do to generate that revenue. It's just a kind of the upfront investment in getting it into the organization, and then after that it lasts for a really long time. So that's a way to scale your business, is by investing in, because there is an investment upfront, producing your material into a format that's consumable on an online platform. Now, before I get into the final way that you can scale, although there are many ways you can scale, these are just the 3 I want to address today. I do want to invite you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, maybe even throw me a comment below. Another great way to scale your business is by turning your consulting process and system into some sort of certification program. So what that looks like is essentially creating a whole bunch of mini-me's out in the world, creating a bunch of other consultants that can go out and do what you've done using your methodologies, your materials, your tools, your testing, whatever you've created. You can certify other people as official designated experts, and then they can go out in the world and do the work. So a great example of this, there are 2 that I love to use, one is Gino Wickman, the man who wrote the book Traction, and the other is Mike Michalowicz, my friend, who wrote the book Profit First, as well as a whole bunch of other books. Now, both of them have, in their book, they lay out a methodology, and both of them go out and speak about their methodology. They deliver keynotes, and they make money that way, and they certify other people in their system, and then those people go out and do the work. And then if you were to do this, you could either have your certified consultants, they could either pay you an annual fee for certification, for recertification, or you can also, the way Gino Wickman does, you can also sell products and materials through those people to the end clients. So for example, I worked with a traction coach, Gino Wickman, traction coach, and to work with me, I paid her, And then she went and bought all the materials for our work together through the Traction website, including a platform, an internet platform that we use to run our meetings and that we use to keep track of our progress. So there's a physical component. We bought binders and things like that. And then there's also the technology component, which is a subscription model. So, Gino Wickman gets to get that revenue from the subscription to the platform. Meanwhile, my consultant that was working with me, she gets to take the fee that I pay to her for doing the work. So everybody wins in that dynamic. And then Mike Michalowicz, the way he does it is he has an online platform where people go to find out more about Profit First, and then he farms out leads that come through that platform. So those are two really great examples of consulting models that have scaled big. Now, I'd love to hear about any of your examples that you know of. I'm always looking for great business model ideas so that I can learn about them and share them with my clients. Speaking of clients, if you're interested in working with me to scale your consulting business, let's connect. You can find out more about how I work at superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com. That's my signature program, and that's where most clients end up starting their journey with me. I hope to meet you soon.